Dave cares what he looks like on camera. I don't. He's double checking his appearance. I'm not. I've accepted that this is what I look like. You should do the same.
Yeah, just riddled with insecurity, my friend.
You've been doing all this dumb social media stuff with the concept of becoming someone worth knowing. So I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions, and I'm going to let your answers determine for these people whether you and me, because I'm going to answer the same questions, I suppose, are someone worth knowing, whether we meet that threshold.
Gosh, so we're playing a game of chicken with our own podcast.
Why not?
Okay, let's do it.
All right. First of all, when you come up with the idea of like, someone worth knowing, the archetype of what that is, the picture of what that is in your mind, what does it look like?
Okay. So hopefully I put a lot of thought in this.
Probably not, though.
You know what? I have put a lot of thought. And what I really think, if you were to crystallize it down, it is somebody who is improving on who they are every day. At its base components, just saying, I'm going to go to sleep tonight better than I was in the morning as a person. So just, that concept, the 1% better is one way of saying it. But I also think it's intentionally striving to improve upon your faults, not just saying, hey, I'm going to make more money, or hey, I'm going to have more free time, but what are you going to do with those things? And that's becoming someone worth knowing. And it doesn't mean that you have to be a billionaire. It doesn't mean you have to be a high-level athlete or killing it in the finance world. I just think that becoming someone worth knowing is somebody that you would value interacting with and that has things other people would want to hear and learn from.
Okay, that's actually a really well thought out answer. You can dive further into it, and I'll attempt to. With, there's the concept of better is arbitrary and subjective, right?
Yeah, okay.
And a lot of us think of better financially, for example, is like you got more money, right? You're a billionaire, you're a business owner, you're a millionaire, you have your own company, maybe you're famous, whatever. There's a downside to all those things. You've been around these types of people. I've been around these types of people. There's a downside to all of that. And in conversations we have had, not on a podcast, because all of our conversations have been not on a podcast, oftentimes what it circles back to is the scarcity, not up, you've been very financially successful. So the scarcity in your life is not money. The scarcity in my life, I'm thankful, is not money, not in a meaningful way at least.
Yeah.
So what is the scarcity in your life?
If you're asking me what I have the least of right now is time.
Time is the one.
For sure.
That pretty much everyone will, when they really think about it, that we live in the United States of America. We live in a state where there are very few people who experience like a meaningful, scary, threatening scarcity of resources like money, housing, food, water, right? Poverty is obviously something that a lot of people deal with, but it's not the same. It's not like the life-threatening type of poverty that maybe exists in other places, in most cases, here at home. So I think when you talk to people, the more people you talk to, and we spend a lot of time, sitting around on sweaty wrestling mats after being at the gym, sharing these whatever random conspiracy theories and ideas about life.
My favorite times, by the way.
And most people would then boil it down to wherever they are on the spectrum of financial success to like, I wish I had this. And it's freedom, it's flexibility, it's time, it's self-autonomy, the ability to determine your own destiny with your time, right? So time is the thing, is the commodity, especially for people who've kind of checked all the other boxes. What makes that the thing for you that you want to make more of? Why do you want more time? Because there's always a reason why you need more time. Why do you need more time?
All right, well, I'll get into it. We got into it before, but the real truth is I've had a few things happen in the last few years. First of all, I hit my 40s, and I think for a lot of us, there's a reason the midlife crisis is a real thing. I got into my 40s, and I felt like I'd accomplished a lot, but then started doing the math and thinking, I may have more years behind me than I have in front of me, and potentially good years. But more importantly, years with my kids. So I have a 10-year-old, I have a 7-year-old, and I have literally maybe 10 years left while they're at the house. And once they're gone. They're gone. They're going to be living their own lives. They're going to be adults. And the only way that I can instill my values, core memories, stuff like that is with time. And frankly, I've been spending so much of my time on other things these last 10 years. I was telling you earlier, I mean, really, if you look at the last 7 years of my life, 3 of them I wasn't even living with my family. I was living in different states, working for my company, getting offices started, doing business work and all these things to quote unquote set us up for our future. But I saw a meme while I was away from my kids, and I hadn't seen them for 6 weeks. And it was a LinkedIn thing. Whoever sent this, thank you, but also I hate you. That it just said, 20 years from now, the only person who's going to remember you worked late is your kids. And it hit me so hard. So that was one big catalyst for me. And then like everybody who gets older, you're just fighting time and injuries, and especially if you're fighting like us. But then just dealing with health issues, like health is wealth. But I'm going to turn it back to you. So you asked me the question, first of all, what is becoming someone worth knowing to you? Does that even resonate for you?
Yeah, I mean, look, I have an obstinate stance on anything that becomes a catchphrase, and that is one thing that will, with popularity, become a catchphrase, right? Mm-hmm. Are you someone worth knowing? But our answers are effectively the same. Do I want to know you because you add something, whether it's humor, whether it's love, whether it's information, whether it's good old-fashioned, like I can call you to help me, move your muscle power, whatever it is. Are you someone worth knowing because you have something to offer the world? And most people are worth knowing in that way. Not all people, but most people are worth knowing.
Have
something to offer, right? And obviously, because time is a scarce resource, you have to distill down the select few that you actually choose to spend your time with, and it becomes kind of like this ranking system of like, these are my best friends, these are the people that like to participate in activities that I also like to participate in. And honestly, a lot of it comes down to that. Do you share my goals, my priorities, my interests? Because I'm going to use my free time pursuing those, most likely with people I enjoy being around and caring about. So that's kind of how we all make the grade for each other. That's how we all meet the criteria necessary. I think that's how we all determine who is worth knowing. Like, who is the person that is rowing in the same direction that I'm rowing.
That's right. Or steering you in a better direction if you're going the wrong way.
Even better, right? Yeah. And the reason I wanted to do it this way is because we were having a conversation before we hit record about that time thing. And I realized, like, this is, I think, the answer for all of us. And I said, why do you need more time? And you said, well, because I've missed. But the real answer why you need more time is because of your kids.
Yeah.
That's why you need more time. And most people our age have kids or are in the process of trying to make a relationship worth something so they can have kids, or have had kids that are now growing out of the house and probably wish that they could go back and have more time with those kids. And it brings to mind for me the question that all of us have a hard time answering is, like, why do we chase anything other than that? You are very successful financially, personally. You have a lot of friends. You have a lot of people who love you. By every metric that makes any kind of sense, you're a successful man. And the thing that still leaves you wanting is time with your kids.
Yeah.
Yet our culture is geared toward grow up, get the education so you can work hard, so you can spend 40 to 80 hours a week in the office so that you can set those kids up for the same thing so that someday they can be pining for more time with their kids. What are we doing?
Well, a bunch of that I think is societal.
That's what I mean.
As a society, well, it's what creates the American exceptionalism is this idea that you get to control your own destiny, but also that you should always be getting more. Like that's just built into us. Whatever you have, you could be doing more, you could be having more. And if you're not doing it, you're not doing enough. And it's the trap I get caught in that, regardless of how much money that I've made up to this point, I always think, well, I should have more. I'd be more comfortable if I had just a little bit more. And I know it's the chase. I heard this quote from that podcast. One thing I have that you don't is enough. And that idea that when is it enough and when have you now maximized that return of I've got enough money, now I need to spend more time with people. Or I need to spend more time being healthy so I can have more years with those people.
Okay, so what is enough? Because for everyone, that answer is different. And you and I, when we were trying to conceptualize what we wanted to do a podcast about, one of the things that we kept hitting on was like, all right, there's a number. Everyone's got a number. And I'm still fascinated with this idea. What's your number? So I'm going to force you to answer the question, what's your number? And that number can be a quantification of whatever it is. Years, dollars, whatever. What's your number?
Yeah. You know somebody very personally whose now number is $1 billion.
Yeah.
And there is no reason in God's green earth that you need $1 billion.
There's no human that enough is $1 billion. That doesn't make sense.
And there's nothing, it's not going to increase the quality of that person's life.
No.
You're doing a really good job of dictating to make sure that you're interviewing, not me, but you're going to get on the spot.
Because I'm better at this than you are at this.
Yes.
Like is the case with all things. Quit changing the subject, just answer the question.
The smartest thing I think you can do, number one, is define it now before you have money if you haven't already done it. And if you already have your money, maybe take a step back and realize what are your goals in life. For me, my number is 3,642,000, somewhere around there. I'd done a calculator. And because when I did that, it was before my wife and I had any kids. And we had done the math based on what our goals were. And said our goals to have 2 kids. If we have 2 kids, we could give this much. If we have this much money by the time we hit 65, then we can live off the income and still have X number of dollars to give to our kids without giving them too much. Because I frankly don't want my kids to have this big trust fund where they know that they don't need to work and they're going to be taken care of. And even if I do give them money now, I'm not going to let them know how much. My kids don't know how much money they have. And when they ask that question, they say, well, Dad, how much money do we have? And I give them that tongue-in-cheek answer. You don't have any money. Your wife and I have a bunch of money.
The Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah.
I love Shaq. Shaq is a great athlete, great businessman. And one of the great things that he said in an interview was he tells his kids, you're not rich. I'm rich.
Yeah.
And he makes them earn their things. And, I think that's important, and that's how both of us were raised. But in any case, so 3,600, or
No,
3 million, sorry,
Yeah.
642,000.
Yep.
Net worth, liquid cash.
Oh, liquid cash upon retirement.
Okay.
Because you need to spin off enough that you can take either the interest payments. I wouldn't do interest payments. I'd be doing dividends or passive income payments from it. And still keeping the principal invested to account for inflation. But getting more technical with that than most people want to.
Okay. But your number is a financial number. Have you hit it?
Yes, I've hit it.
Okay. Then why are you still working?
Because I got 2 parts, caught in the trap. Obviously, the market's always changing, things are always happening. But I think the real thing I got stuck in is that your dreams get bigger and your goals get bigger. And sometimes your goals get out of alignment with what's really important. And I think to some extent, I've already done that. And I'm trying to dial that back now, frankly, for it. But let's turn it to you, though.
Hold on. We will.
Okay.
3,642,000 at age 65 or at age 44?
Yeah, 44.
Is that correct?
That's right.
Okay. Obviously, the math changes on that. If you stop working at 44, you probably need more than 3,642,000.
That's right, because you're not getting the Social Security withdrawals. You also don't get some of the other health benefits.
So let's fast forward again to 65. What does 3.6 give you when you're 65 in terms of a passive income?
So for me, I feel like I can safely spin off 12% a year with my investments. There's not just the stock market, guys. Remember, there's real estate, there's alternative investments, there's all these other things. So you're sitting at almost $400,000 a year.
Okay, which is well above the median income of even the upper middle class in the United States of America. You don't need $400,000 a year, especially at 65 when your homes are paid off, your cars are paid off, right?
You don't need that, but frankly, one of the things I do anticipate is I calculated my spending. I will be spending at least $250,000 a year on items, and then you have to keep an allotment of about $100,000 a year once you're 65 for health and medical items, because as you age, your costs go up, and guess what? You don't have most of the time any longer.
Health insurance.
That's right.
That's why you live in. That's why you live in a South American country that gives you American medical care for pennies on the dollar.
Okay, that is a real thing, by the way.
There's something that's going to tie you to where you're at, and you already told us what that was. It's your kids.
Certainly.
Right? So, the reason I'm asking...
No, I'm just saying when you're 65 and your kids are raised.
Okay, but you think when you're 65, you're not going to want to be around your kids and your grandkids at that point?
I think my kids aren't going to want to be around me more than like 2 to 3 visits a year.
Yes. You know what?
You know me.
I know you. They already don't want to...
Hey!
It's not funny when you make that joke about kids. It's funny when you make that joke about spouse or friends. It's not funny when you make that joke about kids. But the reason I'm drilling down on this, right, is because like you have set up and you've earned this. You've earned this high expectation for your life and your lifestyle to where that number can always increase so that you can always like reach for that brass ring. But and I know I'm oversimplifying here, but at the end of the day, the scarcity, the thing that you actually want to fulfill is time with your kids and valuable time with your kids.
Yep.
And it's quality time with your kids, and it's time with your kids in your situation that you may genuinely believe that when you're 65, they're going to be sick of you, and well, they'll have their own lives and they'll have their own kids, and they're going to have less time for you. They have an abundance of time for you right now. Just like my kids have an abundance of time for me right now. And yet both of us are out there chasing this stupid green currency so that we can manufacture a mythical standard that we feel we have to live up to. For who?
For who? So I'm going to turn it to you. Who are you doing it for?
For my kids.
Well, no, but so we said the thing you want is time with your kids.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And you're now working, and you're also, I'm going to take a step back here and say, you're one of those lucky few or intentional few who've created success in their life. I wouldn't say you earned it, but I say you intentionally created it. So in that sense, you did earn it. You know, you've transitioned from athlete to broadcaster to successful investor, book writer, done all these things.
The books are good. Go find them on
No,
Amazon.
they're great books. I haven't sent Hellbound. Go for it.
Yeah. The number for me, right, because I try to be overly clever with even my own questions, I haven't calculated. I did at one point calculate like, well, I need $40 million and I would never want for anything. If I had $40 million, I could fly private whenever I wanted to. I could have the 3 properties in the 3 places that I want to. One in Hawaii, one here in Salt Lake City, Utah, and one in Botswana.
I'm gonna challenge you. I got to cut you off here first.
Okay.
Because how did you come up with $40 million instead of $20 million or $100 million?
Well, because I looked up, basically, I looked up the cost of like a dream property on the North Shore of Oahu. And I was like, okay, that's $10 million. Okay. So I got to carve that off. All right. So now I got to have at least $10 million to spend on that, buy it cash, let it live. Right. And then like for me, an adequate dream property here in Utah with enough land for horses and things like that, it's going to be at least 5 million, more like $7 million. Okay.
Yeah.
So I want to get that. All right. Now I'm up to $17 million. All right. And then I'm like, okay, if I'm going to have a property in Africa like I want, I'm going to have a damn reserve in Africa, and I'm buying hectares and hectares of land down there. And that's going to be about $3 million. You can,
So
way more bang for your buck. So, okay, like I'll spend the $20 million. Again, this is the dream.
Yep.
This is the ridiculous, like pie in the sky. I'll spend the $20 million just on the properties. And then I need at least that for the upkeep, for the passive income, and most importantly, for the private air travel. Because it's really the only luxury thing that I need besides those fancy properties.
Sure, but those numbers don't all check out. $20 million is way more than you need for those items, for the other items. The other thing that we didn't account for, at least verbally, is taxes, because you have to ongoing pay property taxes, everything else with the other stuff you do.
If you're law abiding. I bring that, I tell you my $40 million pie in the sky because like you've actually sat down and calculated. I have not. Most people have not. And
Do you want to know why they haven't?
ignorance for the most part.
Well, partially that, but I think the biggest reason is they haven't defined their goals. It's easiest if you start with what your goal is and then reverse engineer it. To your
Okay.
point, you did some of that already,
Okay.
Which is a step further than most.
It's not really the number because the more we talk about it, the more we think about it, the more time I spend. Money is not the number. It just isn't. The only number that I actually care about now is I need to be, I don't want to be, I need to be the first. So I guess the number is 1. I need to be the first person that my children look to, lean to, call when there's something wrong. The number 1 is the only number. Like you have to be the first line of defense.
Oh, I love that.
You have to be the first rescue me daddy. You have to be the first whatever for especially my children, but obviously also my wife. And really, I hope for all of my loved ones. Now, that probably does require some amount of financial success in the modern world. That does require some level of flexibility with time that can only be achieved through relative financial independence. So none of these things get to live in a vacuum. But as we've been talking about this, and not just today, I'm talking about it in our shared lives together. Like I have 3 kids, you have 2 kids. You and I love each other. We're friends, real type friends. What if the world was going to end tomorrow? I don't call you and you don't call me. I probably don't even think about you and you probably don't even think about me. Maybe I hope he's doing okay. I hope the zombies aren't eating his brains right now. But it's the people. It's those people, right? And for most of you out there, it's your kids. So how do you achieve that status? That is the status that I need. I don't want it. I need it.
Yeah.
Like anything beneath that is going to be some level of failure for me when it comes to my kids in particular, but even for my friends and for my siblings and for my parents, because we have now aged past the point where your parents are in charge of you and should be taking care of you. I've come to that realization just a few years ago that like, man, you know what? Like my parents are retirement age and did everything they could to give me what I needed. So now it's my turn to take care of them, which is like a really melancholy thing to come to the realization of.
Yeah.
It's like, oh man, like I'm in charge of taking care of my mom now. And they don't need me to take care of them. But I want, if there's ever anything wrong for my parents, I'd be number 1 on their list of people that he could help me solve this problem, right? That is the number. When we've batted this concept back and forth, again, to be fair to David, not today, for months, that's it. It's, are you speed dial number 1 for the people that matter? And man, that actually is just as hard to, if not harder to achieve than my $40 million dream.
Absolutely. Well, if you think about it, there's a bunch of ways to be really rich and make $40 million. There's a lot of ways. We live in a great place and the most amazing time. But there's really only one way to be that for your kids, and it's to be there, to be present, to be the kind of person that you are proud of, but also the kind of person that deserves the look that they give you. Because that's what it means to really be number one. Because at some point, they're going to look at you the way you look at yourself. Right now, they think we're awesome. Like my kids just think I'm the coolest, strongest person. Like they would be convinced I'm stronger than you. They would honestly believe that. And I love that. But at some point, they're going to look with
You just made
realized
your
reality.
kids look real dumb. They're smart kids.
They are very smart kids.
He's tricked them into thinking these things.
No, I couldn't convince them otherwise. I couldn't even convince them otherwise because I'm that person to them. But I love that. Like, frankly, that shifts a little bit for me because there's this list of priorities. At work, we talk about this all the time, but it's like there's need to, want to, nice to have, right? And this is the need to is family. You're right. For me, that's the stuff I really need to do. But I am spending so much more time on my want to.
And so am I. And I think all of us are. And I'm not here to like shame you on how you live or you on how you live or even really myself on how I live. But it's just like when you get to have these types of conversations and really think about it. And our kids are in an age where it feels a lot more attainable and a lot more possible.
Yeah.
Because we don't have teenagers that have already decided we suck, right?
Definitely. My daughter's on the cusp of it right now.
Well, my daughter's 6 and already gets embarrassed by me.
Your daughter's precocious. I remember your daughter at 3 years old give me a dissertation on the back porch about the moon and the cycles of it. And I was like, how are you related to Sean O'Connell?
She's the best. I have 3 daughters. They're all just these amazing humans that I don't want to screw up. And part of the effort of not screwing them up is making sure that that dad's always accessible. And I'm not currently always accessible, right? I'm not. And it's not realistic to always be accessible because you are going to have to work. Again, we have to find the balance of doing that. And like I travel for work, right? And there are some times where just like if they want to get a hold of me, it's impossible. And if I wanted to be right there to fix whatever the problem was or to help with whatever the problem was or to respond to an emergency, and this is a great fear of mine, like I'm on the other side of an ocean.
Yeah.
That's horrific, right? And so I have a dream job, by the way. I get to fly around the world announcing a professional sport. I get to Professional Fighters League, PFL fights on ESPN. We're a major partner. And it's like, that is a dream job. For me, it's a dream job.
It's objectively a dream job.
And I'm just like, this is the coolest thing ever.
But
I found a downside in it because of that, right? And so I don't know what it's like if you're a postman, if you're an insurance adjuster, if you're a plumber. I don't know exactly what it's like for any of those people, but the American way of striving for excellence is often so rooted in finance. And yes, there's a certain amount of free time and flexibility that comes with financial success that should not be ignored and should not be derided. But you already hit your number. And you're still chasing another number now.
Yeah.
And when
definitely.
I hit 40, if I ever did, I'd be like, you know what, 60 would be better. Or 41 would be better.
Because the dream gets bigger.
I don't know how to break out of that without, unfortunately for people, like usually if you do break out of that, it's because of a tragedy. You lose a parent, you lose a friend, you have a health scare yourself. I'm not even going to say the other one because I don't like to speak it into the world. Like, it becomes
It takes something truly traumatic.
A harsh reminder, right? A slap in the face. Why do we all need the slap in the face? I'm asking this for myself too.
Yeah, I think about this one a lot because I also think that most people are incapable of change without a traumatic event. And this is it's another thing about change because it's a change of behavior. What makes you successful, like what's gotten you to this point in life and the fact that you've reached these upper echelons in so many aspects of your life is that you're always looking for improvement, how to get better, how to do more. But the downside is never being satisfied with what you have. And it takes something really traumatic to get us to change, like with our habits. But I think with people generally, like becoming someone worth knowing, the habits, for most people, you have to have something so awful happen or something so disruptive to your life that it forces you to have a paradigm shift and rethink how you view the world. And unfortunately, we all get hit with those at a certain point. I had one of those for me over a decade ago, which was great for me, but it was terrible for me, was fighting and I think losing my job, but being forced to quit really, and then having to move across the country for a different job. And it gave me a really positive paradigm shift as a result, but it was that for me. And so to your question, I don't have a good answer. How can you get the change without the trauma? I don't know.
I don't either. But it's a fascinating question to ask yourself. And most of us have not done the thing and don't have maybe the knowledge to do the thing where you've actually calculated it. Like you've done the math, right?
Yeah.
I haven't done the math because I'm just like, well, what am I going to do the math for? I'm chasing. I don't know what the math is, but I know I'm not there yet. Well, why not? Maybe I am. My standard of living is at a certain spot right now where it probably doesn't need to be, right? My income is at a place right now where, I mean, depending on what part of the country and what part of the world you're in, there are several families living off the same income, right?
Well, do you know what it takes to be 1% in the world?
What's that?
Do you know what it takes to be top 1% of income earners in the world?
In the whole world?
Yeah.
It's probably not much.
$40,000. If you were willing to move your kids, you could find private school, somebody to take care of your kids. You could have stay-at-home instructors, things like that, somewhere else in the world for a lower cost than where you're living today.
100%. Now, unfortunately...
So could I, but I don't do it.
Not unfortunately, but it's just the reality of the situation is like we are all tied to something, right? The sentiment of home, family, extended family, whatever. So I'm not telling you to get up and move to Costa Rica or Panama or Paraguay or wherever you can find the cheapest cost of living. But I think it might be worth it for all of us, myself included, to do the math that you have done. So doing that math and then calibrating how we spend our time based on that math.
Your goals shouldn't be material things like, oh, I want to have a $20 million yacht. It's really, what do you want to do on that yacht? Like, oh, well, on that yacht, I want to be with my kids. I want to be able to go fishing. I want to see the ocean every day. You might be better off just renting a yacht for 3 months a year versus owning a yacht. And that's why I say start with what your goal is, but I mean really your goal.
The first cruise I ever went on was 2 years ago. And I decided I loved the cruise so much.
No!
That I was like, you know what? I'm going to see what it would cost to live on a cruise ship for a year. And they offer those.
Oh, I know they do.
They offer those for the olds.
That's my private hell. I think a cruise,
Heaven.
like you would have to pay me money to go on a cruise. I went on one cruise with my wife when we first got married, and I will never go on a cruise again.
I
will
love
never.
it. I'm going to go on a cruise as often as I can. To go on a nice cruise where, of course, you can eat every meal on the cruise ship. You can have your laundry done on the cruise ship or whatever. A nice one will cost you $70,000 to $100,000 a year for the whole year.
Yeah.
And you're traveling around the whole world. You're seeing everything.
Yeah.
The longest period at sea on that particular one was 9 consecutive days on the water. That doesn't appeal to me a ton. I want the stops.
Mm-hmm.
But that's it's a lot of money, especially because you got to pay for you and a spouse or whatever. But everything's in there. So for retirement kind of thing.
So are you saying 70 to 100,000 a year per person?
Yeah.
Okay. So now you're looking at that number of about $200,000 a year.
Yeah.
So you got to have some money for that.
You got to have some money for it. What was your number again?
My number could accommodate that. So
twice
again,
over.
guys,
I could do 1.821 because that's half of Dave, and I could go on those cruises every single year until I'm dead. Boom.
As long as you don't have a medical emergency or your kids don't need something or forgot to pay your
Of
taxes.
course I'm going to have a medical emergency. They'll throw me overboard and then nobody has to worry about it anymore. The beauty of the cruise.
You could like cruises more if I got to control everyone else who was on the cruise.
Ah,
But
that's a different podcast. Why does Dave want to control everyone
well, who's
all
allowed
the
on
time? You can't extricate the money goal from the time goal, so you probably have to figure out how much time you want, how much money it's going to take to give you that time.
That's right. And do it in a way that you can feel proud of at the end of the day and that you're setting a good example for your kids. All right. Well, finance, fighting, and family, those are the three things I care about. We'll keep talking about it more. Who's allowed on a cruise? I don't want to control them. I want the right people
Why
there.
does Dave want to control who's allowed on cruise ships? On the next,
We're
becoming
moving on.
someone worth knowing.